Alright, you feather merchants. This video is going to be about Pelican Bay State Prison in 1990. And the first job I was assigned to when I arrived in Pelican Bay, when I transferred there in July of 90, was a gun position. It was a gun relief position on second watch. And it was on B Yard and in building B6, B7, and B8. And anyway, it was in the morning, and I'm on the gun, and back then we had H&K 9mm rifles that we used inside the buildings. So anyway, I'm armed with that, and they would only release, I think they only released 2 cells at a time to go into the chow hall. And I think they were coming out of the chow hall when this happened. But a fight broke out right underneath me. And we had, in the control booth, you've got these gun ports. You got it's like a window. You open it up and there's bars there, and if you have to discharge your weapon, you do it through there. And a fight broke out right underneath me. And I was brand new. I was told right from the very beginning, if a fight breaks out, it's not going to be a fist fight. They're going to have weapons, so you want to pay attention. And so I got my rifle ready, and I'm watching them, and I can't see a weapon. One guy is on top of his victim, and he looked like, to me, he was punching him, but he was so skilled at doing this, I did not see the weapon. I had my sights trained on his butt, and I thought, if this idiot starts harming this guy with a knife, I'm going to shoot him in the ass. Well, anyway, I'm certainly not going to shoot someone for a fist fight. Anyway, they finally get it broke up, and I didn't fire a shot. I thought I was doing the right thing. And I remember one of the officers looking up at me when they found the weapon, because they said, here's a weapon right here. And he looked at me with disdain. And when they cuffed the inmate up that had the weapon that he was using, he looked up at me with a smirk on his face. I thought, hey, son of a bitch. But anyway, that's one story. And I remember I was on the gun, and I believe I was in 7 block, and it was a yard recall. So there were some inmates waiting to get into the building, and I overheard a conversation right underneath my window, and it was these 2 inmates talking to each other, and this one inmate said, "This is the worst place I have ever done time in." He said, I'm never coming back to prison. He said, a prison used to be fun. He said, this place is a fucking nightmare. And, the guy he was talking to, he said, that's okay. He said, the guards are running this prison now. But he said, it's not always going to be like that. He said, there's going to come a time where it's going to change. And I look at what the department is today, and I think, was that guy a prophet? But he was predicting the future that came. Anyway, it's just a story I thought I'd share with you. And you know what was interesting is that was really an interesting time to work in Pelican Bay. What they were doing, they were still bringing inmates in from other institutions in 90. And basically what they were doing is all the prisons were sending all the knuckleheads in their prison up to Pelican Bay. That's what Pelican Bay was built for the most violent prisoners in California. And anyone that was paying in a butt for the wardens, they were sending them to Pelican Bay. And I saw, like some of them were, I saw a couple of litigators, like these serial litigators that are constantly filing lawsuits, frivolous lawsuits against the department and officers. And I saw those guys end up on those yards too. But it was a assortment of desperados. And another thing I couldn't help notice, there was a core group of correctional officers that I think was handpicked by somebody to work inside Pelican Bay, because these guys were really seasoned officers that were no nonsense, and they had previously worked out of Folsom, Soledad, Quinton, and I learned a lot from these guys. And I remember one of them told me, he said, I was brand new, and when I say brand new, I never worked in prison, but it wasn't like I just fell off the turnip truck either. I'd been an iron worker, a structural iron worker for 25 years. I'd worked in New York City, out of Northwest Indiana, Las Vegas, and I had worked with and had friends that had done time. And so anyway, but I wasn't, I've never worked in a prison other than Susanville. I worked at Susanville. But this guy told me, he says, the best advice I give to you is keep your mouth shut and observe. He said, you're going to learn a lot real quickly. And, that's what I did. And, another thing, I remember when Sergeant Powers, he came into Pelican Bay, and I believe they sent him to B Yard as a B Yard sergeant. And I was so impressed by this guy. He was, I worked for some really good people, good sergeants, good lieutenants, good captains. I mean, I was very, very fortunate to have been working in the department when I did. And, but this guy, he reminded me of is when I first saw him on the yard, it was at a yard recall, and I was working a gun position, and I was working in 6 block. And I remember when the convicts were coming in, Sergeant Powers walked in the door with them. And this guy, he looked like he was right out of the Marine Corps. It's like very rigid, no nonsense guy. His sleeve was full of hash marks, and interesting guy. It reminded me of like one of those Clint Eastwood movies, where Clint Eastwood walks into a bar full of desperados and everyone stops talking. Anyway, something? I'm not going to get into what happened or my opinion of what happened, but Mike ended up going to prison, and I always felt bad about that. And this is a shout out to him. He was the best sergeant I ever had, and I learned a lot from him. And anyway, all right, you feather merchants, thank you for stopping by, and You guys have a nice day. All right, bye.